Yeah, so hi everyone. My name is Sagar Kakkala, and today we are here for MCP session, which is called Model Context Protocol. Before we deep dive into it, since this session would be uploaded in YouTube, let me share my screen and tell how this you could segregate content here, because my content is with travel, finance, podcast, and DevOps even. And this session where you could find and where you could segregate easily. I'll just share screen and explain. And post that, we'll just deep dive into the session. Just let me check whether I'm recording or not. Okay, fine. Yes, you just have to remember my name, Sarvakala. And you'll have my website, LinkedIn, and YouTube. And in YouTube, I think even Udemy course is coming up. And this Udemy course is actually a CI/CD course that if you are interested, you could check. And in YouTube, this session would be uploaded in AOps, MLOps, which are English. And before this session, whoever is joining new or watching on YouTube, I would advise you to watch AI agents first and then come up for this session, because there is a bit of dependency on both. And once that's done, and here in website, everything is segregated by contents of blog, and you'll find it in a consecutive order itself. Here it's DevOps, and this session here is this MCP server. I think that's on the intro. Yeah, what's exactly MCP could do? Before we talk about this, it's as simple as that. Let's say you wanted to search for a Netflix film, when you had a food ready on your table, and you had something you were not able to segregate content, or you were not able to find the exact movie that you want to watch. You could just tell your AI agent to say show me the best horror film, and it'll play you on Netflix easily, so that you don't have to search for Netflix for it. And same way, let's say I wanted to book a flight. Let's say if I ask ChatGPT to book a flight, it will not be able to book a flight. But what if I integrate MCP tool for my ChatGPT, and I'll say book a flight for me from Hyderabad to Vizag, or from Vizag to Bangalore, or I want to book three consecutive flights, and it does the work for me. And I could say, let's say I want to book a flight under 3000 rupees or something, it even does that. So that's how MCP tools could play a major role here. This is like an integration, we'll discuss more into it when we go into practicals. And here, whatever MCP stands for, model context protocol. Model is nothing but your LLM. It could be any agent, it could be Claude, ChatGPT, or anything. Context is nothing but what the model has to do, and protocol are nothing but the rules it has to follow while using this MCP. We'll deep dive again. And in MCP components, to design, we'll design an MCP server, since we had an AI agent already that we had configured previously in our session. We will, in this session, we'll build an MCP server, and we will configure that MCP server to we'll integrate our AI agent with our newly built MCP server for it. And to design an MCP, you need three major things. One is resources, tools, and prompts. What are resources? Let's say we have a hotel business. Let's say we are running something like a booking.com or Airbnb, a kind of thing. For this, what do you need to have? A resources. Resources are nothing but data. Data is something let's say you have one in that particular city, let's say in Bengaluru, the list of hotels that are available, we need that in our app. So that's one resource. And let's say in Vizag, the number of Airbnbs available or number of hotels available. So these all come under resources, and a check-in, check-out information. Since all this, whatever data is there for our application to use, so that's resources. And tools are nothing but, let's say, we could use AI agent to book a hotel. So that one we could have one tool on get a list of information of hotels available in that particular city, and that's a different tool. And prompts are nothing but we would ask you, we would tell, this is not that pre- important, but you could design. It's simple that like user may ask in this way. Like if user is asks, let's say like find a hotel in Vizag. So we would say like for the MCP component, like it means what it has to do. Like if user gives a prompt, like find a hotel in Vizag, it has to list all the hotels and it could actually display in a kind of like particular order or a kind of in a decorative way. You could use prompts for it. Till here, everyone is clear, right? Or am I going too fast?
Now I'm clear, sir.
Okay, fine. So now let's take this particular example itself of we are having a hotel data. Let's say like I took like a few five hotels because it's just a demo project. I took like five hotels, like one Grand Palace Hotel in New York, and inside this, if it's a standard room, it's like $200. If it is deluxe, it's $350. Suite $500, a kind of. So the same information I took, it's just hotel, location, and prices. So this three I took as a data, and I'll be using it as a resource. And like based on this, we'll design tools like to get hotel details, and another tool to get price details, and another tool to book hotel. Like we'll be designing three tools here. And like depending on your business, you could design your own tools using this MCP. And like as I said, like we'll be using Python SDK. And if you want to like use any other SDK, let's say if you are familiar with Java, Go, Kotlin, like you have their official website called modelcontextprotocol.io, and you could use like any software that you are like strong with. But here I'm going with Python since like we were integrating everything with Python. So like we'll be going with Python itself in our demo. So that's like Python SDK, MCP Python SDK we are using. And this is actually official website, modelcontextprotocol.io is their official website, like where you could find and all this, and you could design their build an MCP server, build an MCP client, like you could learn more about it as well here itself. And here, like since like Python has two packages called pip, and like we will be using alternative package here called UV. So UV is nothing but just like a package like pip, and it's used for Python, and it's actually written in Rust. It's actually getting more popular now because it's faster and reliable than pip. So you could actually go for UV download. This is their official documentation. It's the same commands that I kept for Mac OS and this. And now we'll get into Jupyter Notebook. We'll launch. Since I explained all this in previous session, I'm not going in depth here. Okay. Okay, let me use the same AI agents. Let me delete this. This is actually how we configured in our previous session. So now what I'll do is just new terminal. You could install in your local terminal as well because Jupyter here like we'll be using a Jupyter Notebook terminal often. So that's where like I'm. Oh, sorry, this went on my Zoom link. I didn't copy. My bad. Since UV is already downloaded, I downloaded earlier, so it doesn't show much logs. But for you, it might like show downloading logs, and it might take some time. And like once our one part is done, a UV is done. Oh, this is like if you're using Windows, go for PowerShell. Same thing. And here, like once UV is up, like this is where like we will be using MCP Python SDK to set up our project. Here, if you scroll down to like README file, you'll be able to observe this. Like you could use this MCP server demo just to experiment. But since like we are going under project, I'll be using the same commands but with slight modifications. That's it. As you could see, wait, it's the same commands that I am using here. So here, instead of that like demo, I'm just using hotel booking app because like we decided to design a hotel booking app. Let's say. Hmm. And before you go, actually like check where the location is, like because I want to do it in AI agents. I'm just like navigating to AI agents, the folder like where it is. Okay. Okay. My bad. So this is the directory where I want to like up my like MCP server because this has already agents configured. So I'll be integrating our MCP server here only. You could configure it in very any path. Later you had to specify it at a in like while integrating a MCP server with AI agents, which we'll see. So I'm just like this will actually initialize a hotel booking app, and like this has all the, as you could see 2 seconds ago, this has the Python file. This is just like main.py, which is just like a normal file. Hello from hotel booking. So it designed and pyproject.toml, which is like requirements. And this is just a draft file it designed for us. And now let's go for yeah, like navigate into that directory that it just created. And we will be using UI UV here, like because we need MCP, like we'll have like MCP CLI that's installed here. It's actually again from Python SDK that I took the command. So it'll install all the dependencies that is required. Mm, 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 mm. Okay, now if you go back, as you could see, this uv.log file is created, which has all the dependencies required for our MCP. And now, like this is where like we'll have the main thing MCP configured, and we will be creating a new file called server.py. You could like give any name that you want because it's MCP server and all my commands with server, and it was by default. So that's where I'm using server.py. And this is where like we'll configure MCP. It's again the same thing that I had like used here from MCP dot server dot fast MCP import fast MCP, and this is how like they named create MCP server and all. It's the same way that I designed. And here what I did is like I created a hotel booking server, like importing this from MCP server, and I took the data in JSON format. Let's say like it is like ID1, like hotel 1, hotel 2, hotel 3, hotel 4, hotel 5, and this is the rating, this is the city, and like this is the name. And same way prices I took, like if it is like ID1, for it is like the prices are like standard $200, deluxe 350, and suite 500. It's the same data that I put in JSON format. Like it's the same data I had like segregated into JSON format. And here is where the best part comes. Here is where like where we had, as we discussed, there are three things called resource, prompts, and tools. Like resource is nothing but like where are we getting resources from? Like this is called actually a decorator. So only when you specify at the rate MCP dot resource, MCP server will understand that it's a resource. And like by mistake, if you specify it as like MCP dot tool, and like here it's a different thing, you might like break your MCP server as well. Like it doesn't like work as expected. So for it is a data. So we are asking MCP resource to read the hotel details, like functions and return hotels. It will return all the data here. Same way, I'm actually specifying resource as return prices. And here is where I'm getting tools. It's like get tools. Like if a city is specified for H in hotels, like let's say if someone actually specifies like they want a hotel in like New York, so whatever is there in like New York, like those cities would be displayed here, like Grand Hotel, Grand Palace Hotel, and City Central Hotel. So that's how the command is written here. And like if there are no results, like except like if I asked for to find something a city in Vizag, because here Vizag isn't not there in data, so it will just simply written no hotels found in Vizag. It doesn't mean there were no hotels. It means that it does not have any data. That's it. Because we are using a local tool here. Same way the prices goes. And here is tools. Let's say like if Someone wants to book a hotel, like I could like specify it in the agent, like I want to book a hotel at Grand Palace Hotel for like one guest, and it'll return reply like booking successful, hotel name, guest, and what's the confirmation ID, which we'll see in practical as well. And here the prompts, like one kind of prompt is like find best hotel, and like budget could be anything. I could say like find a hotel at 2000 rupees in like New York, or $2000 in New York. So like I'll give only a written, and here like it'll take the prompt as this: please help me find the hotel in Vizag within a budget, and like here is where it must consider these like location preference. Like it might ask me this as well, these questions like guest name, like if it misses anything like a guest name or a city or any budget or something, if it misses anything it might ask me back as well in the prompts. And that's the use of prompts, and here is where I'm actually running MCP server. uh wait, like we'll get it in more. Like are you guys clear, or are you guys confused on this like logics? Yes, no?
Yes, sir, we're clear on the logic.
Okay, fine. Let's actually create a new file. Oh, my bad. Arre, just rename, click on new file, create, and server.py. Yes. So I'd like make sure you save this Python file. This is like unnecessary tab. Now what I'm going to do is server.py. Yes, it's fine now. And now I want to check whether my MCP server has built properly or not. And for that, what I'll do is there is something called as MCP Inspector that I can use. And for this MCP Inspector, you need to have Node.js installed. And like if it is Mac OS, like simply run the command brew install node. And if it is your Windows, make sure you have Chocolatey installed, and run this command in PowerShell, choco install node.js. And like once it is done, let's run this. Like you had to navigate to that path, like where your server.py is there, and you had to run this to have your MCP inspector. And this is again specified in here in the Python SDK itself. Alternately, you can test it with MCP inspector. Let's see. Where's my terminal? Go for a terminal again. And yes, where am I? Okay. I'm in server.py file itself. Now I'm running this. I think it will not run. Okay, as you could see, like it actually opened my MCP inspector. All you could do is simply like click on connect, and here is how it runs. Because it is local, you could run in stdio, and there are two types here to run MCP servers. It's stdio or HTTP. Stdio, like you use is you we will use it for local, and because this is local MCP server that we are designing. And we will talk about HTTP as well, like which is streamable HTTP. And these are the commands and these are the arguments. And like if you want to like connect, like simply connect this. And here is where list resources. Here is where your resources are. Hotel prices. Here is where you're getting prices, and here is where your prompts are. List prompts, like we had designed two prompts, and tools, list tools. Get hotels, and these are the tools that we had designed, like get hotels, like get hotels available in a city, get prices, book hotel room for a guest. So our MCP server, like we had built successfully. It's till here everyone is clear, right? We'll go on integrating it now. Yes,
Yes, sir, clear.
Yeah,
sir.
hello.
Yeah, yeah. Someone is.
Clear, sir.
Yes, yes. Go ahead. Like someone is asking something.
I'm Chandu, Sagar.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, that logic went little speed. It's okay. Again, we'll watch YouTube recording. It's okay, fine.
Okay, fine. It's just like if you're familiar with Python, you'll be able to understand it easily. It's
Okay.
just like functions, and like return is nothing but the result if this is done. Function is nothing but what it has to do. That's it. And this like if you're familiar with programming languages, right? Or any other programming languages.
Yeah,
Okay,
little bit.
then you could understand it easily. No, but like before, I think like you could watch AI agent session as well, where I have explained everything in detail in functions. Yes, let's go for this. If you are still not able to understand, we can connect again. Now, you understood till here, right? Like how MCP Inspector we were able to verify that we had built our MCP server successfully. Now it's done. And like before you, like this is our local MCP tool, like because like it's our local data that we had. And what we are going to do, we are going to configure an AI agent. And before you configure an AI agent, we had to have like OpenAI API key. And like once that is done, also you had to need some like loading and like OpenAI agents as well. Since it's OpenAI agents and we are going to use like Python MCP, you could like check official documentation again. And this is where we are going to use not streamable stdio MCP servers. This is for our local, and this is how we run the command. This is how like we integrate our MCP server agent. As you could see, MCP server studio, the command, and like the way we run it as server. Like once the server is there, we will be like just specifying MCP servers is equal to server here. Maybe like instead of this, we'll see our agent itself. Yeah, this is something like if you had like not done already, like you just had to run these commands, let's say. Mm, I mean, this is for previous agents. Where is this? AI agents. No, okay, I just kept this everything fine. Yeah, I think my token limit expired. I'm just like loading API key here. Like only if the API key is loaded, it'll enter here. Okay. So once this is done, maybe let me clear few cells. Maybe let me clear cells. That's better, I guess. Sorry about this. I should have cleared earlier. Okay, fine. So, like before you run this, like you need to have your OpenAI API key and that you had to configure, like which I said, like how you could get it. Like you had to add your card, you had to add your billings, and that's how like you'll get your OpenAI API key to design this OpenAI API agents. And like we'll go back, like we'll load this, and like if it's not already done, we'll just install OpenAI agents here. Okay, it's already installed. Let me delete this cell itself. And now this is what we'll do. And this is how we designed. And like the same link from pathlib, like we're importing like few libraries. It's the same as like previous libraries we imported. And the extra library that we are importing is like agents.mcp. And from there, like we are importing MCP Server Studio. This is again, like you could find again this same thing in official documentation. Yes, here is where the libraries that are required. And the current directory and all, let's say. Like since we have our actually where is since we have our server like MCP server in this directory, as I mentioned, you could go design it at any path and you had to mention the path here. The same way, let's say you had like mentioned the path, like whatever path you had configured your MCP server, make sure this path is right. And here is how we are designing our MCP server. So it's the same code again. and like name, whatever it is. And since like we had designed like a UV project, we are going to use command as UV and arguments as like run python server.py. The simple thing what it does, it goes inside this directory and like you uses this command. So like UV run python.server.py, which turns up our MCP server. So our MCP server is started, and like once our MCP server is started, like we had designed our agent like hotel booking agent, and we had given our instructions saying that you help us find hotels, check prices, and make booking using the MCP hotel tool. And for MCP servers, we had included as server because here, like whatever MCP server studio is there, we had used it as command. Like as is nothing but like alias here. So we said like MCP servers are this. If there are like multiple MCP servers, you could actually use those multiple MCP servers as well here. And this logic is the same as like previous one that we had did, like the chat history, the agent, and the kind of bot it needs. Let me run this. I'm not going through this logic again because this was explained in the previous session, previous AI agent session. It's just like we had attached an MCP server and like we had integrated our MCP server with our tool here. So let's run this code. I'm saying now, find a hotel in New York. This way. Okay, as you could see, it gave us hotels in New York, like Grand Palace Hotel and City Central Inn. And what I'm going to do, I'm saying book a hotel. Under name Sagar Kakkala. Okay, fine. Hmm. Okay. Is not okay. It don't wants to have a city here. My bad. Okay, instead of if you need the confirmation details. Hmm. I don't know. Ah, this will help me provide if you have. I don't know why it's like uh, troubling me now. Okay, it's asking me standard room. I'll go for standard room. I don't know why it's messing up now. Before it was like clear on booking a hotel. I don't know like whether I messed up with the tool or something. What does like book a hotel room for a guest? Okay, let me go for this again. Which hotel would you like to book? No, I don't know why it's messing up. Let's leave it here. Let's go for this again. So, fine. Like this is actually tools that it'll use. And like let's say if I don't want to use a particular tool, I want to use only like a get hotels, like instead of booking hotels, like what I could do is like I could say like using a particular tool itself. Like there is this called static tool filtering. And in the static tool filtering, like what we could say like allow only tool like get hotels because it had three tools as we had seen from MCP Inspector, and we are telling it to use only one tool and leave the rest. So that's where like we are going for this. Let's exit this first. Fine, hotels in Miami. Miami we specified, right? Okay, book that hotel for me. Yes. Okay. I don't know. It's called, let's say get the prices of hotel because we did not actually give prices to access as well. Mm, yes. I think it got only the rating. It was like just hallucinating, like before it gave me the correct data while I was like experimenting. But I don't know why. Like we failed to get the prices of the data because it has only access for one tool. This is how maybe like let's go for remote tool itself. Now, let's say like these are our local MCP tools. And what if like if you want to use tools that are integrated with Airbnbs or like Chrome or something, like you could have remote MCP servers. And in this like remote MCP servers, like if you scroll down, like all these have their own MCP servers and you could integrate with your AI agent. And in the same way, let's say like I had used here the Chrome agent here. Here I had used something called Chrome Dev MCP in that tool. And here is how like it specified me to use. Same way, because like we had used UV as argument here. Here we would be using npx. This everything remains same. Command would be npx and arguments would be the one here specified. That's it. And yes, here like I had designed it to be an Airbnb agent. And what I said is like you help users search Airbnb listings, check prices, and make bookings using Chrome search tool. So it will be using our Chrome that is installed. Like make sure you have Chrome installed here. Like if you are using this agent, let's go for this. What I'll do, I'll say search Airbnbs in Bengaluru. Yeah, it opened Chrome. It opened my Chrome tab and it actually searched Airbnbs in Bangalore. So this is how you could integrate remote MCP servers. Like using the same tools, like you could like do anything, just like as I mentioned, you could use it like a YouTube agent, like to search some YouTube videos. The same way here, only thing that changes is like the name and instructions, and like everything stays the same because instructions are nothing but your context, like what you want your AI agent to do. Same way you could use it like a Netflix agent using the same Chrome tool. And you could even design the Spotify tool as well, like changing only a bit of things like here, uh, Chrome MCP server streams name, here like the agent, Netflix agent, and I just said like you help users search for videos on Netflix that they have asked and use Chrome tool for it. Like clear on this part, right? Yes.
Yeah, clear, sir.
Let me stop share screening. I think yes, that's all on the MCP part. Like here you had learned what's MCP, how do you design local MCP, and like how do you integrate your local MCP with your AI agent, and how do you integrate remote MCP servers as well. If you want, like you got to experiment with any remote MCP servers that are available in official site. Yes, yes, that's all I have. Okay. If you guys could turn your cameras on, we'll just take a screenshot and we could have a leave from here. Okay. Chindu, Ganesh, Vishnu, let me stop share.